Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm here. We're back for another episode of the Fryar Place. Listen, I just got to take a second. I want to make sure we're live on YouTube. I know we're live on the Facebook page. Want to make sure everything's working on YouTube. So give me just a second here while I'm looking at this. Yes, we are live on YouTube. Let me turn it down. Y'all come on in the room. We got another great show for you today. Have a great guest. I see you, Rashida. You're always one of the first ones on. You waiting. Just can't wait for the next show. We've had a great year, actually. Year and a couple of months. We've been on doing the Fryar Place. Hope, what's going on? Y'all come on in the room. I see 9. I said 9 are in already. Y'all are in the room already. Who are you? I only see 2 of you acknowledging yourselves. I see 9 of you right now are on live with us right now. So come on in the room. Let me know you're here. Say what's up. Say hi. Say boo. Say shut up. Say something. Today we have a great guest, y'all. You know this is the Fryar Place where the conversations are fire. What's going on, Richard? How you doing, bro? Good to see you as always. Let me bring this in to a better scene. That way y'all can see me a little bit better. I just wanted y'all to see my Fryar Place t-shirt. Y'all don't forget, we're on iHeartRadio. Go to iHeartRadio. Get the app. Download the app, open the app, search the Fryar Place, and you'll be able to listen to the Fryar Place on iHeartRadio. This t-shirt that you see that I have on right here. Yep, right here. Check it out. The Fryar Place. We have merch, Press and Sew. My stuff ain't working right today, so I can't put the logo up or put Press and Sew up on the screen like I normally would, so y'all forgive me. It just happened right before we came on. You know how technology is. It acts up right at the wrong time. But Press and Sew, PRSS, the letter N-S-O-W, Press and Sew. Yes, we have merch. Go to Press and Sew. Check us out. Hats, t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, all that stuff. We got all of that. And anytime you buy anything from Press and Sew, from the Fryar Place, the proceeds go to charity. All right, y'all. Good to see everybody. Vanetta, what's happening? Who else? Stu, what's going on, man? Thank you for your support every week. Sister Sally, I see you too. I see the t-shirts. Where's that Eagles? Where's the Eagles gear? Well, I'm not wearing my Eagles gear today. I'm supporting myself today, Richard. I'm not supporting the Eagles today. I'm supporting myself. This is the Fryar Place. Yeah, I didn't want to, I was messing with O.J. Anderson last week by wearing my Eagles gear. But this week, I'm not going to mess with our guest like that because he's a little bit faster than O.J. Anderson. He might track me down and jack me up. So good to see everybody in the house. Let me see who else is here before we bring our guest in. You probably saw the little short promo that I put out yesterday. Mama, what's going on? That's my mother. That's my mother, y'all. Those of you that don't know, she's on every week. She watches and listens very intensely, and then she critiques and lets me know, was my hat on straight? Was it a good show? How's everybody doing? Need one of those purple ones? Listen, go to Press and Sew, Stu. Go to Press and Sew and get one of these purple ones. Yeah, that's where I got it from. PRESS, the letter N, SOW. Ruth Ann, Tante Ruth Ann, what's going on? Good to see you too. Listen, I'm going to bring our guest in. He's in the green room. I don't want to hold him any longer. Most of you should know the name Dorsey Levens. Yep, you should know who that is. Played with the Green Bay Packers for 8 years. He played in the NFL for 11 years. Played for the Green Bay Packers for 8 years. Then he came to the Eagles, then to the Giants, then back to the Eagles. I believe that's how it went. But y'all, he was with the Eagles. Those of you who are Eagles fans, like I am, when they went to that Super Bowl, when Five and T.O. and Dorsey was right there with Westbrook and all of them, right in that Super Bowl. What's up, Mayman Bay? So, y'all, I'm going to bring him in so he's not waiting any longer. What is going on, my man? Dorsey Levens, y'all.
Good? What's good, man? Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Good to be seen, bro, not viewed. Hey, listen, a whole lot of us getting older. I'm 60 years old now. I mean, you're a lot younger than I am. But I'm 60 years old now, and there have been quite a few fellas that I played with, that I grew up with, that are long gone. So it's a blessing to be amongst the land of the living. Yeah, it's a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. I just read recently that the life expectancy for us, former football players.
Here we go already.
It's 57 years old, so you already passed the curve.
Is it 57 years old?
57. I'm 52, so I'm paying attention too, brother. Trust me.
I didn't know that. The life expectancy, now is that determined, or do they equate in there, or in the equation, is it how many years you played, or just the fact that you were an NFL player?
Just the fact that you were a former NFL player.
Well, dang, I'm doing real well. I played 17 years, man. God is good. Thank you, Lord.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Lord. Good gosh. Well, Doris, for those of you who don't know, Brother Levens, good brother. I just want to say this to him while I'm in front of all of you and anyone who will listen to this at a later time. Anytime I've seen him, anytime I've been in his presence, anytime I've met him and our paths are crossed, he's always, first of all, he's been the same. And in that same, he's been very respectful. He's always make sure he acknowledged me and said hi, and he's conversational and engaging. He just has been friendly the whole time. And we don't know each other other than football. We know each other as a fraternity of brothers who have played in the league. But outside of that, we don't necessarily know each other. But he was always engaging. He was always approachable, and he did not hesitate to say yes when I asked him a couple of weeks ago when I saw him at a golf tournament. I hadn't seen him in years, if he would be on the podcast. So, man, I appreciate you. Hats off to you. Some cats will try to big time. some cats try to big time me. I'm serious. And they're cats. I'm not going to mention any names. I'm not. But they're cats that I helped to groom. Cats that came up under me, who played while I played, who I helped along the way. And now they're big time, or they're in the Hall of Fame or whatever, and they won't return my phone calls. They won't acknowledge me. I'm like, come on, really?
Yeah, man. Hey, same here. It
really? You get that same stuff too?
Oh yeah, man. It's I don't know. It is what it is. I think guys. I think that people are coming at them from so many different angles. I think maybe they get tired, but for me, it's.
No. It's not the same, Dorsey. It's not the same, because we're at the same level. We made it to the same level. So we get that same kind of, if it's people coming we get that same thing. So, so I know, and you know what it's like. You know what we're dealing with, or what we have to put up with, so to speak. But when you approach me, or I approach you, or we approach someone else who's been in the same boat that we were in, at the same level, doing the same thing, may not have made as much money, may not have played as long, but we were there. We've got a fraternity that not many people have, and there should be a mutual respect, at least in my.
I agree, and that's what it is from my perspective. It's a brotherhood. We family, like you said, it's a fraternity.
Yeah,
we played together for so many years. It's a respect thing for me.
Right,
and I got love and respect for everybody that played in the NFL.
There you go. So
when you ask me, it's like, hey. All right, and even guys that hit me on social media that that played in the league I never heard of,
Right,
never
right.
played against. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? If I can help you, I'm gonna help you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, look, y'all. So, just in case you don't know, 5th-round draft choice, 1994, Green Bay Packers, played 11 years in the league, won Super Bowl, was it 31,
31.
against the Patriots, the Green Bay
Yep.
Packers. That Brett Favre, y'all were. That was a good game too.
Oh yeah.
I think you went to the Pro Bowl in 1997. You have over 1,400 yards that year. That's awesome, bro. And you've
Yeah,
for the Green Bay Packers, you ran for over 1,000 yards for 2 years out of those 8 years you were there. Went to college at Notre Dame. This is something I want to talk to you about. You started your college career at Notre Dame, and then you transferred to Georgia Tech, right?
yeah.
So when you were at Notre Dame, was it there were a few running backs that were there? Was it Ricky Waters and Jerome Bettis? Was it?
Yeah, man. We had Ricky Waters, Jerome Bettis. We had Reggie Brooks, who was, I think he was Offensive Rookie of the Year for the Redskins when he came out. Long story short, we had, in my 2 years there, we had 12 guys in our running back room. 11 of us went to the NFL. 2 guys switched to defense
Wow.
and got drafted ahead of me. So we had so much talent in that room, man. We had
Wait a minute. How was Notre Dame getting all that talent? How did you have all that stacked up in the same room at the same position?
so we just come off they just come off a national championship going into my freshman year. So we had 23 out of the 25 recruits were all Americans my freshman year.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So we were stacked, and we're on TV every week. NBC stands for Notre Dame Broadcast Channel, right? So
Notre Dame broadcast.
yeah, man. So it was we had talent, man. We had so much talent. You know, we had Rocket Ismail played a little bit of tailback at the time too. Rocky
Wow.
Culver, Anthony Johnson. Man, the list just goes on and on, man. We were loaded.
So was that a part of your reason for leaving and transferring? Because
No.
you go ahead.
No, so here's what happened. So my freshman year, I didn't play a whole lot, and that's I probably should. I don't think I was ready to be honest with you.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
You know, I needed that time to get acclimated. So,
Right.
but by spring ball my freshman year, I figured out that I belonged and I could play. Balled out that spring. Got MVP of the spring game.
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
number 1 on the depth chart going into my sophomore year. That summer in Syracuse, New York, where I'm from originally, I was training up at Syracuse University. And my knee buckled. Long story short, I had surgery. I was going to miss 7 or 8 games, and I wanted a red shirt. So I talked to Lou Holtz was our coach, and I'm like, man, listen, you know, we only got 11 games. Back then, we only had 11 games. You know, 12 if you go to a bowl game. But I'm like,
Right.
just red shirt. So, you know, and he was like, well, we don't red shirt. I'm like, well, that's funny. We got 5 fifth-year seniors on the team. What do you mean we don't red shirt? So he said to me, Irv, he was like, you know what? Your road to get back on the field is going to be a lot longer than you want to wait. So,
So he was basically giving you a hint.
so basically, he said, what I heard was, if you want to play, you need to get out of here. You know
Right. That's why I say he was giving you a hint.
Yeah. So that's why I rolled out.
Wow. I can't even imagine that. I've talked to several people. I do a post-game, pre-game analysis with Green Legion, with the Eagles, and we have a player show where every week on Tuesday nights we'll have a player come on with us and be on the first hour of our 2-hour show on Tuesday nights. And there have been several players that have come on with us that have transferred in the middle or even their junior year in college to another university and played. I didn't do that. I stayed at Nebraska for my 4 years, and I can't even imagine what that would have been like, or how I could even come to the conclusion to make that decision, get my mind straight, or to the point where I can make that decision. What all went into that, and who did you? I know you didn't just stop with the coach and what he was saying, but who did you talk to help assist you in making that decision?
You know what, man? I wasn't happy from day one when I got there.
Okay.
You know, even before school started, I was like, I was calling home crying like a baby.
Yes,
like,
sir. I know that too. I know that feeling.
I was like, I want to come home. And she's like, no, you just homesick. You know, you get used to it. But I think, man, I watched too many Animal House movies back in the day where college kids had fun.
Right.
And Notre Dame was it's a small Catholic school. Man, my dorm was built in 1891, so it was old and it was real small. Like when I say small, I mean like me and my roommate couldn't take our coat off in the room at the same time in the wintertime. It was like
Wow.
small.
Wow.
So my RA was a priest across the hall. So we were like always like, hey man, keep it down, make sure we won't get no trouble, you know. But
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, but it was just man, I wasn't a good fit for Notre Dame.
Okay.
I'm not a Notre Dame guy, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. And it seemed to work out. Georgia Tech, you went there and you had a great senior year. You averaged what 7.2 yards per carry your senior
Yeah,
year. How was the comeback from the injury after the surgery? What was that
well,
like?
it was. You remember back then when we transferred, we had to sit out a year.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had that whole year to rehab.
Okay,
And actually, at the end of my sophomore year, I played. So he didn't redshirt me. I played at the end of my sophomore year, like
really.
the eighth or ninth game of the season. I played.
I see. That's phenomenal because back then, I mean, it's not now. Things were different, weren't as advanced, medically as they are now. Guys come back real quick. I mean, okay, when we were playing, when you were playing, when I was playing, if you messed your Achilles up, that was a death sentence. Very rarely did people come back from a messed up Achilles. And knee surgeries were, they were butchers back then. It's not the same way now. Now they just go in and scope it without you getting a zipper down the front of your leg. So it was different. It was not the same as it is now. It was different. So you were challenged in your recovery, in your rehab.
It wasn't an ACL.
Okay.
I had some swelling that wouldn't go away. I had to have I remember for like a week and a half, I had a tube that was draining blood out of my knee. I couldn't move. Swell. It's called synovial tissue, and they said it was disease and it was causing a whole bunch of swelling. But I had to have surgery.
Okay.
And it was that was my first surgery, so that was rough too.
Was it? Did they would they scrape your knee to get
They scraped the whole underside of my knee and then they shaved my kneecap.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had my patella was rubbing on something, some bone or something was happening.
Right.
But it was painful. Yeah.
So you ended up leaving, going to Georgia Tech. You did the same thing. You had success your first 8 years, pretty much most of the time at Green Bay, but then you were dealing with some injuries there as well. And I don't want to just focus on the injuries, but I want to focus on the challenge of coming back. People think that professional football players are indestructible and that we're not human, and that when adversity comes in our lives that we just overcome it. We're strong enough, we're big enough, and we can just, without even thinking about it, we can just overcome it. But it's not that way. We have feelings, we have emotions, we have minds that mess with us, just like everybody else. So you've had to deal with a few injuries in your career, and you've had to bounce back from those injuries. Just for people who are listening, who are dealing with challenges, things that they have to overcome, things that aren't easy in their life, maybe even painful, maybe a setback. How did you deal with those things, and how did you get back on your game? Because you went on to play with the Eagles and the Giants, and you were still successful in your career.
Man, for me, the biggest part of it was the mental side of it. I mean, obviously having injuries is tough, but if it's not real serious, at some point in time you can come back from an injury. Man, for me, it was just dealing with the doubt, because when I transferred from Notre Dame to Georgia Tech, we had a coaching staff change. Bobby Ross went to San Diego to coach the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
So, Herb, I was like you my junior year, dog. I played wide receiver.
You just trying to get on the field, be on the field.
We switched to a run and shoot.
Right.
And because I could catch better than the other running backs, they moved me to wide receiver.
Wow.
So I basically was like, you know what, man? I'm a running back. I'm not an NFL wide receiver. I know what that looks like. You know what I'm saying? And I had like 15 catches my junior year or something. It was ridiculous.
Right.
So I don't even know why they moved me back. That spring of my junior year, they moved me back to tailback.
Okay.
Because prior to that, I was like, man, I'm not going to the NFL. And I think that's the thing, Irv, when you say people think we're not human, they think we just know we're going to make it to the NFL.
Right.
And there was never a question. that you were going to go to the NFL and succeed?
Yeah.
Man, there was a million questions. A million questions.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
literally gave up on my NFL dream at the end of my junior year. I'm like, you know what, man? I got a full ride. I'm about to graduate. So what I did was I buckled down on my books.
Okay.
I was like, if I'm not going to the league, I need to get a job.
Right. Yeah.
So I graduated before I was drafted.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Nice.
said, I was already on that path when they moved me back to tailback. But the reason I graduated before I got drafted is because I didn't think that was going to happen.
Right. Right.
And Green Bay drafts me as a fullback.
I was going to say, then you had your dream comes true. You're drafted into the NFL, but then there's another battle because I believe, just listening to you, you wanted to be or thought you were a tailback. And when you got into the league, they moved you to fullback.
Right. So in 3 consecutive years, I played flanker, tailback, and fullback. So, and that was in Irv, man, it was. First of all, I hated playing fullback.
Right. I know. I can't look. I wouldn't want to play fullback either. I don't.
Because it's a headache waiting to happen.
It's like playing linebacker.
Right, you want me to just sprint, and I'm like, man, this is not fun.
Yep, just run fast and run into those linebackers. That's what a fullback does.
That's what you do, and just it wasn't fun, man. But I persevered, man. And the thing in life, man, people got to understand is that there are always going to be challenges,
Yes.
obstacles, and problems in life. I don't know who gave us the impression that life was supposed to go smooth. It was supposed to go the way you planned it, and you're never going to have any issues. The human experience says the complete opposite.
Mm.
There are always going to be challenges in life, right? And life doesn't get easier. What happens is we have to get stronger.
Ooh.
And you get stronger by
he's preaching, y'all. He's preaching. No. Keep going. Because you're segueing right into what I was going to ask you. Do you think or do you believe, and I know you do, that those challenges, the fact that they put you at fullback and now you're a battering ram, that they put you at fullback, do you think that helped you, made you stronger, so that when you did get an opportunity to get back at tailback, you were a better back? You were better at your craft. You were stronger. You were wiser. You were tougher. So the challenge made you better.
It did. And the challenge for us as human beings is that usually when we're in the moment, we don't see it like that.
Mm.
We see it as a challenge that we want to get through it as fast as possible and get it out the way.
Yeah.
Right? But when we look back, because hindsight's always 20/20.
Right.
We go, you know what, man? That might have been the best thing to happen. Talk about hindsight. And being a young athlete, when we thought we knew it, we had everything figured out. We knew everything. My agent goes, "Where do you want to go?" I was like, "Man, well, I'm from Syracuse, New York. I would love to go to the Giants because they need a running back and it's not far from the crib.
Right.
That's where I want to go."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Well," I was like, I don't care where I go, really. I was like, and I quote, "As long as I don't go to some place like Green Bay, I don't care where I go." And
so you're a prophet too, huh?
Man, and looking back on it, so my 10th season, I did end up going to New York.
Right.
And I figured out why God didn't put me in New York as a rookie, because we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Right. You weren't ready for New York.
I wasn't mature enough to handle the party scene in New York at the time.
Right.
I was barely mature enough when I was 32 when I got to New York.
Okay.
So I knew I would have been no good at 24.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's a good. You know what? I could also say the same thing about me being in New England when my first 9 years, and then I went to Miami. Had I been in Miami my first 9 years, I wouldn't have played. I wouldn't have been in the league 9 years.
Exactly. I know exactly what.
It was just a challenge. So talking about Green Bay, you're in the Green Bay Packers Hall of Fame, man. You've been inducted into the Hall of Fame. Tell everybody what that's like, and when you got the phone call, and what the ceremony was like, and what that has done for you. Given the fact you've been able to overcome all of those challenges.
Man, it was just validation of the perseverance. Like I said, I didn't even want to go to Green Bay at first. Then I get there, change positions, have some injuries. And then to be in the Hall of Fame for the Green Bay Packers, which is a legendary organization, is big. Considering where I was after my junior year of college, when I started taking school seriously, right? Because I thought I needed to get a job.
Right.
From that point to the point I get to the Packer Hall of Fame, man, that journey is just unbelievable. And I can never, like we talked about earlier, I can never say, man, I was good in high school. I knew I was going to the NFL. I knew everything was going to work out. That's a lie, at least from my standpoint.
Right.
I had doubt after doubt,
Yeah.
concern, worry. Look, I was a 5th round pick, or I didn't
Right.
know if I was going to make the team or not.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I remember, I don't know what y'all called them, in Philly or New England or Miami, we called them the Grim Reaper. Come knock on your door.
Oh, come knocking on the door during training camp with the playbook. Yeah. Bring your playbook. Yeah. Coach wants to see you. Bring your playbook. Yeah.
So in Green Bay, they always did it first thing in the morning, like.
Right.
And it was crazy because they wake up guys at 5, and we be on the field. And that 8:30 flight, you know, it's guys on that flight already.
Right. You see the plane going.
yeah, and the stadium right by the airport too.
Wow. That's it.
So.
But you know what? Your story is great because it's an example. What's going on, David Hunt? Dennis Donez. David Hunt, I got to talk to you, man. I found out something about you that I didn't know. And, bro, you're a special dude. I got to holler at you, man. I'm going to holler at you when I get off the broadcast today. AQ, what's going on? Good to see you. Florence, good to see you. Y'all, great conversation. This is an example. This man is an example of, though you may not be where you want to be in your life, but wherever you are in your life, produce where you are. Be positive where you are. Move forward where you are, and you'll reap the benefits at some other point. You will. The benefits will come when you continue to be positive, when you continue to produce, when you continue to move forward. Yeah, you will reap a harvest. You will reap a harvest. It will come. And Dorsey is an example of that. Why did they call you Dorse the horse?
Just because I always had big thighs and I ran off. I was just and it's crazy.
I don't remember you. I don't remember you the times that I was, aware of you. I don't remember you being, a big brawler, a big like fullback type guy. You were kind of a finesse guy to me.
I guess a better word would have been thoroughbred.
Okay.
Because the perception was I didn't get tired, which is ridiculous, right?
Yeah, you man.
Did you ever get tired during the game? You didn't look like you got tired. I was like, man, are you crazy? I get tired. What kind of question is that? So I think it came from that. In high school too. I don't want to say I was unstoppable, but I was hard to tackle. I was bigger than most guys. I was 210 pounds.
Right.
Running 4'5" in a small city. So. That's where the name came from. Big fish in a little city.
So let's move for, although we could talk about the football stuff and we'll come back to it because I want to get your opinion on a couple of things. We'll talk about, we're going to talk about the Eagles later on because you play for the Eagles and what they're doing right now. They just made history last night. And we're going to talk about the Green Bay Packers because they're just a mess right now. They're a mess right now.
They ain't looking good.
A mess, right? It's just bad. Look, that's why seasons change. They call them seasons. Seasons change. I'm not talking about football season. I'm talking about life. You can be on top. Today you can be on top of the world. Tomorrow the world will be on top of you. So better enjoy it.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah, enjoy it and save up and put stuff in the barn when things are good. So listen, people don't know this about you. I didn't know this about you till I started doing some research. You are an actor and a producer. I mean, you're a good looking dude. I ain't funny like that, but you're a good looking, handsome man, and that fits you. When I read that, I'm like, okay, yeah, he could be an actor. He could be a producer. You had the cameo appearance. You were the head coach in We Are Marshall.
Yeah, We Are Marshall.
Yeah, but you were also the coach in Gridiron. Gridiron was that was.
You watched that?
I didn't watch all of it. I had to go watch some of it just to get an idea of what it was.
Okay, all right.
But you got
you and about 4 other people seen it.
Yeah, but really, no. But y'all, you got to go watch Gridiron. Because the concept or the plot was really interesting. How you had these people from another country who didn't play football, who wanted to play football, and they decided they were going to hire an American football player to be their coach. and that was you.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you a quick story about that, right? So that's a true story. It's based on a true.
Right, right.
The film was the coach,
And it's called Gridiron. Yeah, go ahead.
Gridiron. It's on Amazon. It was called Gridiron UK, but I don't know why they took the UK off it. Anyway, so I get over there, man, and it's the team is practicing. I just got off the plane. I go straight to the practice facility because I want to see what they look like, how they play football in the UK. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. I was having a hard time wrapping my brain around it because they don't have Pop Warner football. They don't have high school football. They don't have college football. So these guys are playing football for the first time ever, right? So they by the time I got there, probably the guy who played the most is 3 or 4 years. So it looks like a bunch of Pop Warner kids, but they look like adults, but they move like Pop Warner kids.
Wow,
it was the weirdest thing, man. And over there they have to pay to play. They have to buy their equipment. They have to pay for the football field to rent. They have to pay for the officials. Wow. They have to pay to play. But it was a great experience, man. But it was weird. It was weird. The youngest guy was 19. The oldest guy was 65. I'm talking about the real life team, not the movie. The real life.
Right,
team.
right.
65 years old.
So in the movie, I mean, obviously you got them to play better. How much of a challenge was that for you, trying to get people who don't really know how to play football, who don't come up, from child into high school into college, then into the pros, people that really just don't know how to play football? How did you get them? How much of a challenge was that?
Oh, there was nothing I could do for them. I was just there to say, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you guys. I'm Dorsey. I'm playing.
Get out of here! No, really?
There's nothing I could do. There was nothing I could do for them.
Wow.
I was only there. It took 10 days to film, so I wasn't over there for a long time.
It took 10 days to film.
I only went to practice that one day.
Yeah, I gotta watch that movie. So how did the movie turn out? Did the movie turn out with them being able to at least play football?
Oh yeah. They played.
Oh, so thank God for movies. So all of that was really false.
But the movie was true to life. They were awful, and we got killed.
Right.
That's the way it goes.
Wow. And then you were in. Let me see what this is. Madea on the Run with Tyler Perry. Yep. Bro, I didn't know you were doing all this stuff, bro. You got some clout. I was one day thinking about doing some acting. You need to holler at a brother next time. Next movie you doing. What was that like? I didn't see. That was a play. Madea on the Run was a
stage play.
Stage play. Yeah, I didn't see that. I heard of it, but I never saw it before. What was that like, working with that kind of? Well, I mean, Tyler Perry. Everybody knows who Tyler Perry is, but working in that arena, man. And how did you land that?
I had to audition for it, man. I've never gotten a part that I didn't audition for, except so the producing part comes from probably about 10 years ago at Georgia Tech. I co-wrote and produced a stage play called Stripped about a professional football player, and stop me if you heard this before, who has everything and then loses everything. Right?
I'm not going to stop you. That happens.
That's life, right?
Yeah, that's life.
So that's where it started on the stage. And then I've always been auditioning for film and stuff like that. But there was an opportunity, man. I came, and it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. Tyler Perry's brand and his fan base is incredible. Like we probably did 150 shows in about a year and a half. We probably go like 3 months off, take a couple months off, and then go. And very rarely was there an empty seat anywhere we went. Anywhere was there an empty seat, and if it was at the noon matinee show at the top of the arena.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But other than that, man, it was crazy. It's funny. You said earlier, it's better to be seen than to be viewed.
Yes.
Aunt Bam says that. That's one of her lines in Madea on the Run.
Yeah.
What you just said.
Well, when you start getting older like me, you're gonna start saying that too. You start getting a little bit older. I got a good. What am I, 60 now? So I got a good. Well, if you go based on the statistics of football players, retired football players, I don't have any time left. But in my mind,
you got plenty of time.
In my mind, I got it.
Side of that.
Yeah, in my mind, I got a good another 20 years left, maybe 25.
Absolutely.
So
you still look like you're about 42, 43.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Hey, you dyed that beard, nobody would know.
I can't
Nobody.
dye. Well, I used to dye it, but I only dyed it because I had a couple of patches of white in it, and it looked like I had a couple of holes in my beard. So when it actually started getting white, which is what I wanted it to do, that's when I stopped dyeing it. And I wish it would just all turn white and just get it over with. But yeah, I've
It looks
seen.
good, brother.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But and I work out and do all of that. But yeah, when you get older, that's what you start saying. It's better to be seen than it is to be viewed. Because I just came from a ceremony where we were viewing somebody, and
Yeah.
they were my age. But yeah, I've seen some of Tyler Perry's work. I've been to one of his plays, and yeah, just like you said, it's unbelievable. Not an empty seat in the house, but that had to have been a great you just second to none experience for you. You also did a documentary, right?
Yeah.
And your documentary, and this is where we're going with this. Your documentary is called Bell Rung, getting your bell, your head. For those of you that don't know, getting your bell rung, meaning concussion, meaning dizzy, meaning you got to take a second to shake the cobwebs out. And that had to do with you finding out information about CTE, about these concussions, all this information that's been released over the last, 15 or 10 or so years ago, the last 10 years or so, we found out a lot of information about CTE and concussions that we just did not know. And you did a documentary on that called Bell Rung. Tell us what that's all about, and tell us what happened that gave you that paradigm shift when it came to understanding, okay, this is a lot more serious than people are telling us.
Yeah, so I had a company, and I still have it. I haven't done anything in the last probably 5 or 6 years, called Levens Communications, and I was with my team, and we were just trying to figure out how to break into the industry, right? So one of the guys on my team was like, "Hey, man, there are a lot of concussions in hockey. Maybe we can do some research into that and look into that." And I was like, you know what? I've been hearing some stuff about NFL guys committing suicide. Let me look into that a little bit more because I don't watch hockey. I just don't.
Neither
I
do
don't know
I.
anything about hockey.
Don't feel bad. Neither do I. Look. I'm just hold your thought for a second. Now that you say you don't watch hockey, the Philadelphia Phillies are in the World Series. They're down now,
Yep.
3-2. But 2 nights ago was the first time I ever in my life sat down and watched a baseball game.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah,
But
so
for me, and no disrespect to
no
people who love
disrespect,
football and
no.
baseball, but it's just too slow. It needs
Exactly.
to be a little faster.
Yeah. Well, they say hockey is better in person. If you go watch hockey
That's
in
what I keep
person,
hearing. But
I've heard it. Yeah, but I don't believe it. But because I haven't gone to watch it. But go ahead to finish your story, man. I'm sorry.
Where was I? What were we talking about?
Talking about
CTE. Look,
yes,
see, look, that's what we're talking about, right? What was
right,
the memory?
yeah,
Anyway, um, so we started doing research, man, and then I started getting nervous. I was interviewing Dr. Guskowitz, who's the head athletic trainer at the University of North Carolina, or was at the time. I'm not sure if he's still there. 'Cause it was like 10, 12 years ago. This was before any of the concussion stuff. Like nobody was talking about it.
uh-huh,
Like I kind of like if it had been released, I would have let the cat out the bag, so to speak.
okay.
This is
What?
before the concussion movie. This is before. There's a documentary called The League of Denial. You probably never seen it,
Nope.
have you?
No.
Never heard of it, have you?
No.
Because it was aired on PBS because the NFL is in bed with everybody else, so they didn't want to put that information out there
Right.
on that platform.
Right.
Aired on PBS. Very informative. If you watch it, be prepared to be pissed off for about 24 to 48 hours.
Wow.
Because what it documents is that the NFL knew in the early 90s what the effects of concussions were doing. When they did an autopsy on Mike Webster, who played for the Steelers, they determined. But what happened was they didn't want the information to get out because they knew lawsuits were coming. So they hired the same firms that Big Tobacco hired when people came after them for all the cancer lawsuits to protect themselves. But the thing that made me mad is that it was almost like they viewed us as just cattle. You know what I mean? Like we're just very irreplaceable. Like we don't have. It was just. It was heart wrenching to me that you would look at another human being and not value them at all. especially the human beings who are making you billions and billions of dollars.
And you could even, I mean, my mind is so warped that I'll take it to another level. It's almost as though you got massa up in the big house and you got the slaves down in the field producing, sharecropping, making money for the master. We get a piece of it, but they get all of it. They get most of it, and they don't care about you. They'll use you until you can't be productive for them anymore. Then they get rid of you. So
exactly.
That's I'm kind of warped like that, but that's the way I see it.
And that's the truth, and those are the facts. People don't like to talk about it.
Right.
But that's that's the way it is. So, I'm doing this research, and Dr. Guskowitz says, I wish people would stop saying you got your bell rung. He said, because every time you get your bell rung, that's a concussion. And I go, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That can't be right.
Yeah, when I heard you say that, I got scared too.
Yeah, right. Because I'm like, you know how many times that happened?
Right.
I'm like, Doc, you don't understand.
Yeah.
And it's not just me. It's you. Everybody who plays. This is a contact sport.
It happens. I got my bell rung all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Thank God I don't have any symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
My mind is clear. I can function. My body's good.
Yeah, if you can say Guskowitz after 12 years and remember remember how to say that name, yeah, you're good.
I've said it a million times, trust me. So I wasn't concerned until he said that.
Right.
And then, the more research I did, we all have CTE, or all of us.
That was going to be my next question to you. So after doing all your research, do you believe that anybody or everybody who's played in the NFL or played football at that level, maybe college as well, has some traces of CTE?
Everybody in the NFL who's passed away that they've done an autopsy on, 99% of us have CTE.
Wow.
And scientists say the number is probably the same at the college level.
Okay.
The issue is we don't know or understand why some people go off the deep end mentally, and some people can live a normal life expectancy.
Right.
That's the scary part for me. Because one day it can just kick in. Who was the guy? Maybe it was Nick Bonacani, who was on Inside the NFL. Remember him?
Yep. Nick Bonacani.
For years, he did a great job on Inside the NFL. And then I think when he got to about 70, I saw a video online where he couldn't figure out how to put his T-shirt on.
Wow.
So it kicks in at different times for different people, which is why I'm like, let me just keep doing what I'm doing, eat healthy, continue to work out, continue to read, keep my mind active.
Exactly.
To make sure, I can't make sure that what's done is done, but I can, if anything is happening, we can slow it down. Right.
And I do, I'm glad you're saying that, because I don't know. I haven't done any research. I know very little about CTE. I saw the concussion movie that Will Smith did, and I have an understanding of the fact that our brains get rattled around in our heads. I know I've had my bell rung. I mean, I have 12 documented concussions, but that's only the documented ones. So, I know I've been knocked. It started back in college. I got knocked out in college, hit my head, hitting the ground. It was crazy. But so I know that the possibility is there, but I do, like you said, I work out. I try to eat the best way I can, stop eating all that junk, got rid of sugar and all that kind of stuff. I try to make sure I'm doing things that exercise my mind, whether it's reading, whether it's thinking, whatever it is, to try to make sure I'm fighting that kind of stuff and it doesn't catch up to me. And prayerfully, like with you, all of us and most of us will live normal lives and die in a normal way.
Yeah, God willing.
Yeah.
And here's I'm not going to ask you if this happens to you, because I already know it does. You ever walk into a room in your house?
But everybody does that, man. Everybody does that.
But with the information that we have about our history, you like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, is this the beginning?
The devil starts talking to you. Like, right. Oh, you got CTE. You can't remember you came in the room to get your keys. or you looking for your glasses, they're on your face. I've done that before. Right. Looking for my glasses, they're on my face.
I look for my phone on the phone. Yeah. I'm on the phone talking to somebody, telling them I'm looking for my phone.
But people who don't have CTE do that kind of stuff.
That's true.
They
That's
walk
true.
in the room. My consolation with that is, okay, I walk in the room, I forget, or I go downstairs, I forget what I went in the kitchen to get, or the reason I went in the kitchen. I stop and I think, and then I remember. So that's my consolation. I'm like, okay, I'm good. If I can remember, if it doesn't stay, if the thought doesn't stay away, if I can recall it, then I say, okay, I'm good. I'm good. My mind is fine.
What I do is I look around the room and hopefully I'll see whatever it was I was looking for, and then it jog my memory. That's where I'm at with this.
Or you go back, you trace your steps back to what you were doing prior to making the decision to go in that room, and that usually triggers something. Yeah, usually triggers something. But yeah, it's for most of us, it will be an uphill battle. I've got a couple of friends of mine who played ball at the NFL level. I won't mention their names, but yeah, they have problems getting around. They have problems driving. They're getting the shakes a little bit, and their speech is slurred, and it's painful to watch, particularly knowing why it's happening, and that almost kind of feeling guilty sometimes that it's happening to them, but it's not happening to me. But yeah, we have to be prayerful and be hopeful, and just try to stay in the will of God, do the best we can, and pray that God blesses us and keeps us in our right minds until we go before His presence. But listen, man, I wanted to talk to you a little bit. That's enough of that. That's depressing.
It is. And it really is.
I'm done with that. I'm gonna get rid of that sheet. That's depressing. I mean, it's reality, but it's just not, because we played the game, and I love the game. I love to play the game. I love the camaraderie first with my teammates, but then I love the competition, being able to go out and overcome, a guy who's trying to keep me from accomplishing my goal. It was great. And we did it on the stage in front of thousands of people. We did stuff that most people just don't do. A fraction of the people in the history of the world had ever done. And we did it at a high level, a great level. And I enjoyed it. But to know that I was putting myself at risk the whole time and wasn't told about that is really disturbing. It's disturbing to me.
That was the thing that bothered me, is like, you know what, just let us know so we can make our own decisions.
Right.
Just inform me. Don't hide it from me. And this is life threatening. This is not a small thing. But like you said, that's depressing. Let's talk about something else.
What they should have done, instead of all these, this is just my opinion, we'll move forward. They should have just kept continuing to keep us with our insurance policies. If they kept us insured, we wouldn't be having all these discussions and all of these lawsuits and all that other stuff. If they would have just kept us just pay for our insurance. You'll spend less money. Keep us on insurance, keep us insured, so that if something happens, we can get it taken care of. Because that's the battle right now. Guys that have CTE, that are struggling with CTE, they can't take care of themselves. They don't have the funds to take care of anything medically that needs to be done. So it should be taken care of. It should be taken care of.
Absolutely.
So listen, we just real quick. Let me see if anybody got any questions. Let's go to the question section, y'all. All right. Who is this? Richard. Richard says, Dorsey the horse was used a lot as a pass halfback for Brett Favre. Did you like being a pass back? I guess that's what it says. Or a hand off, a pass back. You like catching the ball or running the ball, basically, is what he's saying. Would you prefer catching it out of the backfield or running it out of the backfield?
I don't have a preference. As long as I got my hands on the ball, I was good. I started to mention this earlier. We were talking about the year I played wide receiver at Georgia Tech. And I said I thought this was the worst thing that could have happened to me because my NFL dreams are done. And when I talked about looking back in hindsight, one of the things I teach in my mindset company, Remind, is that when something challenging is happening to you, in some way, form, it's here to help you that you don't know about, right?
Right.
The year I had 1,400 yards rushing, I think I had another 400 yards receiving. But that year prepared me to play with one of the best quarterbacks that ever played.
Right.
I was one of the best pass receiving running backs in the league at that time. And a lot of that had to do with that year where I thought I was being buried. Or as they say, you think you're being buried, you're actually being planted.
But it actually, yeah, you thought it's still going to take a minute for you to sprout up. But listen, it also prepared you for where the league was going and where it is now. It's a pass happy league. So that transition was taking place around the time I retired, which was, I retired in 2000. So you were right there in the middle of it as the league was making that transition to a passing league. So, it did benefit you more than you ever thought.
You got to be jealous.
Oh yeah.
The wide receivers playing today. You had to worry about getting your head knocked off going across the middle. You're right. You couldn't just land with no worries. You couldn't do that.
Yeah, they got no worries right now. Defensive backs literally have to I see them sometimes. There's hesitation in their attempt to tackle, whether it's a defensive back, whether it's a running back or whether it's a wide receiver or a tight end. There's a hesitation sometimes in their attempt to tackle them because they're trying to figure out how to tackle them without obviously leading with their head, without hitting their opponent's head, without getting a penalty. And they end up hurting themselves sometimes because they're trying to figure out how to get it done in the legal way today. But yeah, it's a different league. I don't understand. Look, bro, I was telling you earlier, I don't understand. I don't get it when a cat catches a ball. He'll catch a ball 20 yards down the field, make a guy miss, run another 5 yards or so. He huffing and puffing and go to the sideline. I don't get that.
We had a guy in Green Bay. I won't call him out by name who did that once in the game.
We played every down.
When he got to the sideline, like, dude, slide. This ain't baseball. Just slide. What are you doing? Back then, Irv, back then we ain't play that.
Well, yeah, back then, look, I had my guys when I first of all, I know we sound like a couple of disgruntled old-time football players, but we're just giving you facts. That's all we're doing. We're not saying that ours was better than it is now. Listen, it's better now. You know why? Because it's safer. Yes, they're aware of the CTE and the concussion. So that in that aspect of it, it's better. But listen, my first year, none of the guys on the team talked to me. Why? Because my rookie year, I got hurt twice. I cracked my ribs in preseason, and I dislocated my shoulder about halfway through the season. And I didn't play 16 games. I only played 8 games. And most of the guys, Donnie Blackman, Steve Nelson, John Hanna, Andre Tippett, none of those cats spoke to me. And my second year coming in, I asked them, I said, well, why are you talking? You don't say anything to me. They said, play 16 games and we'll say something to you. You got to play 16 games. And then Steve Nelson came to me and said, listen, you got hurt twice out there last year, and I saw you laying on the field. He said, from now on, don't you ever, if you get hurt, you better drag your ass off the field. Don't you ever lay down on the field ever again. That's the group that we played with. You get hurt, you better drag your butt off the field, and you get over on the sidelines, we'll take care of you. But we ain't coming out in the field to get you. Don't you stay down on the field. Wow. I'm like, okay.
Things have changed.
Yeah. And then now I'm watching cats, they get an injury, it's their shoulder. And I'll say to my wife, well, why is he laying on the ground? Ain't nothing wrong with his legs.
Right.
Get up and get off the field.
You know what kills me is the guy who lays down and they come up and they check on him, then he's in the next play.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Why are you laying? Yeah. Why are you laying? If you're laying, it should be something serious.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's
in the locker room pretty soon.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a cramp or whatever. But listen, the Eagles. You played for the Eagles for a minute. You went to the Super Bowl with 5 and with T.O. and Westbrook. That was a great team. Didn't win, but you got there. It was a great time. Eagles just set a record. They're 8-0. First time ever in franchise history. They've been 8-0. They got weapons all over the place. Defense is really good. Didn't really play up to what I think they should be doing in terms of their schemes defensively. They could do more. But tell me about the Eagles. What you think about what's happening right now with Philadelphia, and why do you think it's happening?
Well, I think it's happening because Jalen Hurts got better. He's a better quarterback. He's made improvements. He's made progress throughout the years. I think he's the number one reason. But then obviously adding A.J. Brown was a big factor.
Right.
The running back, 26. I'm drawing a blank.
I'm trying to think of his name too. I'm drawing a blank as well. It's the CTE. Okay, well, it's the CTE.
Right. Yeah, we're playing
Miles Sanders is his name.
Miles Sanders. There you go. last night was the most explosive I've seen him ever. He looked like a different running back to me last night. I'd never seen him look that explosive, um, running a football or fast.
Right.
So I think that's good. That's good for Philly too,
The,
man. But it's exciting to watch, man. You
yeah,
know,
the
Devontae Smith,
past
those
the
guys
past few
got it.
years, Miles has been dinged up. He's been a little
Yes,
hurt,
he has.
and
Yep.
now he's in not his contract year, but yeah, this is the last year in his contract, and so you know how that goes. He's
Oh
on
yeah.
fire. He's got a chip on his shoulder, and he's trying to make sure if he doesn't stay in Philly, that somebody picks him up, and they pick him up, they're going to pay him. So he's in his last year of his contract. So that's a part of. Obviously, the team is better as a whole, but that's a part of the reason. And then yesterday against Houston's run defense sucks. I think Derrick Henry the week before ran for like over 200 yards against them.
He did.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it was. That was a good opportunity for him to shine last night. But I think you're right. The reason, yes, the team as a whole has gotten better in every area, defensively and offensively, but Jalen is the one who runs the show. And because he's continued, and that's something he's done in his whole career, he's continued to get better and improve. This year's the second year in the same offensive system, the first time ever in his career that's been able to do that 2 years in a row. And
Wow.
it makes a difference. Yeah, he's always been,
Yeah.
it's always for him, it's been a different system, different coach, different system every year for him, from college all the way into the pros until this year. So last year and this year, and you know that just as well as I do, when you
Oh
get an
yeah.
opportunity to stay in the same system more than 1 year, man, you come in way ahead of the game. You come in able to, be creative in what you have to do in terms of, as a running back or as a wide receiver. I can be creative because I'm not worrying about, okay, what am I supposed to do? I know what I'm
Yeah.
supposed to do. Now I can do it and be creative in it and use my athletic ability. So, Green Bay, Eagles, Green Bay is on the other side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
They got issues. What do you think's happening with them, and how do you think they're going to fix it, or do you think they're going to fix it?
Like you said, seasons change, right? And this is not a typical season for the Green Bay Packers. But that's, man, what's crazy? That's why we love it. Even if you're a fanatic and your team is not playing well,
Uh-huh.
the reason why sports is so intriguing is because you just don't know. It's so unpredictable. Week to week, anybody can win a game.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, I don't know if we're gonna win too many more. We got the Lions this week in Detroit. We should get a win. We got some receiver issues. We got guys who are injured. We got guys coming back this week, but there's been no continuity between the receivers and Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And as a wide receiver, you got to get your timing and all that stuff down before on the practice field before you translate it onto the football field. And these guys can't. If they're hurt, they can't practice. So
Right.
they're young, inexperienced, and they have some injuries. So
Man, the Lions can be a little frisky. Listen,
they can.
Green
They
Bay
can.
lost against the Giants. They lost against the Jets. I mean, the Jets and the Giants are the worst two teams in the last 5 years.
Exactly. Hey man, I feel you. Even last week on our podcast, I picked the Bills. I'm like, hey man, I can be a homer,
Right.
or I can be a football analyst.
Right. Well, the Bills.
Football analyst says this thing ain't gonna be close.
Yeah, the Bills are tough. The Bills are
are.
tough this year. They that Richard Melton, who's with us. He is a Buffalo Bills fan. Tyrone, what's going on, man? I see you, bro. And I did ask him your question, Richard. Don't be getting spicy with me. He typed in here, ask him my question, Doc. I asked him the question. Doggone it. What's up, Chuck?
Yeah.
Good to see you, man. Robert Johnson, what's going on? Good to see you too. Talk about your T-shirt, man. Before we get off, I want you to tell everybody about what's going on, what that means.
Yeah.
So
Remind, you see, it's a half apple, half brain play on words. So Remind is basically it's a mindset training program focused on changing the way we think and changing the way we view the world, so we're not stressed out all the time. Remember when I said to you earlier, whenever you're going through a challenging situation, what if this in some way, form, or fashion is helping you for something down the road?
Mhm.
I talk about my year of receiver. So just things like that when you're in the midst of turbulence in your life, you can look at it from a different perspective, so you're not stressed out. If you tell yourself, "Oh my God, this is just life dragging me down once again. Here we go again," or the mindset is, you know what, this is gonna help me in some way, form. Even though it's tough in this moment, it will pass because everything passes. in some way, form, or fashion, it's going to help me down the road. Just that mindset will help you get out of a lot of predicaments.
Right.
Because a lot of it's stuck in our heads and we
Right.
can't get out.
Right.
Right. So if
Right.
you change the way you think or you change the way you look at a situation, everything changes. When I tell you my stress level has decreased, not because I know it, but because it's called remind, because a lot of the times we know how to act, right? But what happens is we get emotional.
Emotions. There you go. Yep.
And then as you know, as mama says, your home training goes out the window.
Yep.
So what I teach is when you get emotional, before you start to react, think about what you're thinking about. Right? Because when you get mad, you're thinking about something that's making you mad.
Making you mad.
I've
right.
never been happy and wanted to punch somebody in the face.
Right.
That's never been. It's what you're thinking follows your emotions, and then consequently how you react.
Right.
So just taking that. Most of us don't think about what we're thinking about. We get mad and we don't know why we're mad. I live in Atlanta and people always complaining about the traffic. I'm like, dog, this is Atlanta. This is the norm.
Right.
If you don't like traffic,
leave.
There's a place in Wisconsin that has traffic 8 times a year in Green Bay. You go up there, you ain't got to worry about no traffic. Here in Atlanta, the reality is,
right.
And one of the things is, and I'll end here, it's a harsh acceptance of reality. Wow. This is the way it is. And if you can't change it or control it, you need to move on. We spend so much time complaining or just talking about things we can't control or we can't change.
Right.
I tell people I'm in here, figure out what's important in your life and focus on those things only. And it sounds simple, right? But if it's not important to you, what are you doing?
Why are you wasting your time? Yeah.
Right. All of us have ambition. We all want to be further in life than where we are right now, right? Most of us, if you have some ambition. If you're not where you want to be, what are you doing with your time? What are you doing with your time? Because a lot of us waste
be productive where you are, just like we were talking about earlier. You got to be productive where you are so you can get to where you want to be.
Exactly. So yeah, it's just a whole mindset shift.
Wow, that's I mean the Bible, it's biblical. It's biblical. Romans 8:28 says and we know all things work together for good.
Yep.
And that is to make, and it makes us those things that are working together for good. The good is that we're conformed into the image of Christ. So we know Christ is good. So everything that's happening is supposed to be developing us and making us good, bad, up, down, ins, outs, bitter, sweet. When it all comes together, God mixes it all together, it comes out good. I come out better. I come out more of who and more of what God wants me and created me to be. So again, like you're saying, when I'm in it, I got to know this is working for my good. Somehow I can't see it. It don't feel like it. I can't get into my feelings because I can't live by emotions. I can't live by feelings. Jesus didn't say, feel me. He said, follow me. I got to walk by faith, believing that things are going to get better, that God is going to work this thing out for my good. I used to give a illustration about how my mother would make cakes, and she'd take all the different ingredients, vanilla extract, flour, eggs, and she put them in a bowl and beat them up till they're nice and smooth. Now, none of us like raw eggs by themselves or vanilla extract by itself or flour by itself. No, I don't like all those individual things that are bad or nasty by themselves. But when she took it and she mixed it all together and beat it down nice and smooth, and then put it in that preheated oven, put it in a hot situation, it rose to the occasion. And when she took it out, what was it? That joker was good. That cake was good. So that's what it is. We don't necessarily like the individual incidences or the individual events that take place in our lives that are sour, that are bad, that are stressful, that are painful. We don't like them. But when God takes all of that and he puts it together, and then, he puts us in a heated situation. It might be stressful. It might be something that's not going the way we wanted to go, but we're supposed to rise to the occasion. And when we rise to the occasion, we do that with the right mindset, then guess what? It works out for our good. But if our mindset's not right, then we miss it.
Yep.
We miss it. Because we settle. I used to say this. So say it like this, and I'll be done. If you'll miss the end product if your mindset's not right. And I used to, when my mom was done beating the bowl down, I used to like to lick the bowl. So I missed the end part if I wasn't mindful of the end being good, and I'd settle for licking the bowl. So y'all listen, don't be a bowl licker. I'm done, man. I'm done. But that's good stuff, man. So what are you doing now besides, helping us with our brains? Is that your main gig right now, or what are you doing these days?
Yeah. And just for fun, I teach a spin class 6 times a week at a place here called Effect Fitness.
Okay.
So I got your whole mind, your mind and your body.
Yes, sir. Mind, body, and soul.
Man. That's what I do.
That's amazing, bro. Well, it looks good on you, and it sounds good on you.
I appreciate it.
Doing it, just
and
helping people.
I'm still going on auditions and stuff for acting roles and stuff like that. So when I land one, I'll let you know.
Oh yeah, when you land one, tell him you got a big brother. He's a little bit older, but I can play like a preacher, or I can play somebody's grandfather, or I can be, I can do something like that where I'm sitting down, don't have to move too much. Or I can just sit in the background, and just nod. I can be that cat where I'm looking out the window and they come in the room and whisper. I got my back to the room. They come in the room and whisper something in my ear, and I just nod my head.
You look like the cool uncle, like the uncle who you can tell everything to, and you can trust that he ain't gonna backstab. You like the cool uncle.
Okay, all right, I can be the cool uncle. Yeah, I got that. Let me read this for you. Tyrone Johnson said. Jenny Johnson. Tyrone Johnson, hello. Jenny says hello. Tyrone, you read that. I don't want to put that on the screen. All right, Michael Lott, David Hunt. God bless you, bro. Good to see you. Where can people find you, Dorsey, on social media?
On Instagram at Dorsey Levens 25, Twitter Dorsey Levens, LinkedIn Dorsey Levens. My Facebook is full, and I ain't on there too much anyway.
So mine is too. You gotta create a celebrity page. So you got 4,000, 5,000 people on your Facebook, right?
I got 5, yeah.
Yeah, so you can. It's full at that point. Unless some people drop off, you can't add anybody else. You got to create, and I'm kind of nervous about doing this, but you got to create a celebrity page which has an unlimited amount of people that you can have on as friends. So
yeah, like I said before we started talking,
I know.
I need some help in that area.
But yes, I haven't done it either. So guess what? I need some help getting it done too. I know it can be done. I just don't know how to do it.
Yeah, somebody told me that probably like a year ago, and I tried, and I was like, you know what? Forget it.
Okay. Well, listen, I've been wanting to do that. So if I find somebody before you find somebody, I'll let you know, and I'll have them, help you out. If you find somebody before I do, please holler back.
I got you.
All right, bro. Listen, I appreciate you being with me today. Don't you have a podcast that you do?
Yeah. We have the Green and Gold G Lounge, NFLApodcast.com.
Okay.
NFLApodcast.com. And we just got picked up by, I want to say iTunes Radio.
Wow.
iHeartRadio, and there's one other Spotify.
Okay.
So, but we're still in the beginning phases too. This is our first year doing it. But we have fun, man. We just talk about football,
cool.
Talk about life a little bit,
right?
Some football,
right? Well, we started the Fryar Place just on July 2nd, 2021. So we're just over a year old. So I know what you're dealing with. Just hang in there, man. It's a good thing. I love doing this. I love reconnecting with guys that I haven't seen in a while. And, this won't be the last time I have you on, bro. We'll make sure we stay in contact, all right?
Appreciate you, man. You're doing a great job, too. I love the format. I love the background. I love you got the Prince Purple Rain thing going in. No, I'm just playing. I know you and Omega, huh?
Yeah.
All right, okay. All right, I'm just giving you a little.
I like Prince. I love Prince. Prince was a bad dude. Great entertainer, man. That cat could sit down with a guitar and just do a whole concert by himself. He was awesome, man. That cat was awesome. Sure. But yeah, I got my purple. I'm glad you noticed it. Yeah, I do it on purpose. But and I started doing this thing trying to create a brand myself as the cat with the hats. Not the cat in the hat, but I'm Irving Fryar. The hat. Yeah, the cat with the hats. So we'll see how that goes off. Bro, I appreciate you, man. God bless you. I don't want to hold you any longer. And I'll stay in touch, all right?
All right, man.
Appreciate you. Take care of yourself, man.
All right, later.
Oh, he went off. Guess he here we go back here. Okay. I'm back. Yep. Okay, there he goes. He's out of the green room now. What's up, y'all? we've been having I've been having a great time doing this. I just do. And I'm so happy about all of you who take the time to chime in, to come on, to be a part of the show, to ask questions, just to say hi. David, I know you got to run. Be blessed to you too, bro. Be blessed. I will be in touch. I'm going to hit you up, direct message you on your Facebook page, because I just became your friend yesterday. Michael Lott, yeah, a lot of diamonds dropped. Sure enough, let me throw that up on the screen. A lot of diamonds were dropped. Good knowledge. Dorsey he's connected with what's going on. He's aware of what's happening, particularly post NFL playing, and what it takes for us to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Yeah, it's I don't want to say it's disturbing, but it keeps you aware with the CTE, and you see people around us who have played, people that you know, they're struggling. Yeah, it keeps you mindful of the fact that, we did something or we played a game that could very, very much so harm us in the future, have some repercussions down the road health-wise. So y'all pray for all of us. Anybody who's playing ball or has played ball in the past, whether it's college level or whether it's the pro level, if you know anybody else, keep on your knees for them. Anytime you're down and you're talking to the Lord, shout their name out on their behalf. Intercede for them, because we need your prayers. We played a certain way, unaware of what we were doing to ourselves, but now we are aware of what can happen, and in a lot of cases does happen. But we did it, and I love talking to guys that played in my era. Dorsey Levens is a great player. Played 11 years in the NFL as a running back. That's a tough position to play, because you're banging all the time and you're getting banged all the time, hit on all the time, linebackers and linemen falling on you. So it's good to see him doing well. It's good to see him and hear him in his right mind, and he's helping other people, particularly with the mental aspect. So y'all, next week we have another guest. I'm not going to tell you who it is. I got a couple I'm trying to figure out which one I want to bring on next week, but we've got guests in line. So you'll see a promo this week. I'll release something this week and let you know who's going to be on next Friday here at the Fryar place, where the conversations are fire. Mom, thanks for being with me today, us today. Florence, thanks for being with us today. Robert Hunt is probably gone. Chucky, I see you. Michael Lott, I see you. Jenny Johnson has a message for Tyrone. Tyrone, read that message, please. Richard Melton, I see you. Robert Johnson, God bless you. Thank you for being with us. Dennis Donez, I don't know if you're still with us or not, but thank you for being with us. There's 16 still with us right now. Stu Winrow, bless you, man. Thank you for your support. Tyrone Johnson, bless you, my brother. My childhood, that's my boy, my dude. I'm not going to say that other word. But that's my man, pots and pans, bottles and cans. Yeah, that's my dude right there, Tyrone Johnson. Dennis Tunstall, hey, yes, great message. Thank you, sir. Dennis Donez, I said you. AQ, you still there, man? Thanks for being with us. Mayman Bay, my brother, bless you, my fraternity brother. Ruth Ann, Tante Ruth Ann, Vanetta, Sister Sally, Hope, Wiley, Rashida Arrington, all y'all, God bless you. We'll be back next week here at the Fryar place, where the conversations are fire, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Y'all stay safe, stay healthy. I'm trying to play the theme song. It's not playing. Come on. It won't play. My stream deck's not work. There it goes. All right, there it goes. All right. Technology can be just a pain in the behind sometimes. But y'all, stay safe, stay up, stay prayed up. Look out for one another. See you next week. Peace.